Good morning. This is Henrik. It is January the 5th, 2018. It is Friday today, a day that, as many know, is dedicated to the goddess of love and of beauty named Venus in Greek and Roman mythologies. So naturally, as every time I get to make one of these recordings for you and for us all, I will speak to us about beauty and about love, for that is so important in our lives. I've often seen beauty and I've often felt love, but all too often have I not recognized beauty, and all too often have I not been able to love, to feel love, and recognize love. That love is on its way, this year more than ever, in all of our lives. And so, today, on this God-given day, this magnificent day as we spin around the sun upon our planet craft, Earth, I wish to address in particularly the feelings, the concept, and the existence of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. The true place to worship life is within the individual's own private chapel, erected to love, to the eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love that inhabits us all. Its chapel, its temple, its tabernacle, its church, its mosque, its schools, its parks, its sacred museums, its other places of worship, of which the core, in the case of us human beings, is inside our human heart. And these places of worship are simply life. Life is my religion, and love is my gospel. Or, if you prefer, we can always say life is our temple, and love is our religion. Our temple, the temple of our soul, currently is life. The life of a human being on earth. The life of a precious child of the universe within the living womb of our loving mother, the earth. The life of a magnificent manifestation of love in the dream of the aeonic goddess Sophia, who resides at the core of our Milky Way galaxy, and whose power emanates through its spirals made of countless worlds, in countless stars, in countless planets, and in countless moons. The temple in which our souls are currently evolving in is life. And its religion, it is worth repeating, the religion of this temple of life is simply love. Life and love. That's really all I believe in, and that is all I really need to believe in. Life in all its splendid and beautiful manifestations, and love in all its powerful sights and sounds, waves and currents, in all other beings, in human beings, in animal beings, in plant beings, in water beings, and in all elemental beings, such as water, earth, fire, nature, and spirit. All of these beings, all of these living beings, animated by the magic spark of life and the Holy Spirit of their Creator, the loving architect and engineer of all life throughout the cosmos, are all divine beings. As part of this great cosmic symphony of evolving life and animating love, it is wise for us to live our lives with an absolute respect for life and with an optimal passion for love. We are all, each and every one of us, an intrinsic part of the eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love that are forever creating this beautiful cosmos of ours and all beings and all things within it. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are always watching over us. Over you? Yes, you. And over me, naturally. And over all others as well. No soul is overlooked. No spirit is left unanimated by this beautiful, loving force of life and of love. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love take care of us all, of each and every one of us. They always have, always will, and always are taking care of us this very moment. Who else, or what else, if you prefer, is responsible for our existence and its evolving destiny, but eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love? You tell me, eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will never leave us, even when we take a tangent and feel all miserable or really sick or alone, like in Deep Purple's song, that group of the 60s. If you've ever heard them, one of their songs in their album, I believe it's Machine Head, goes in one of its verses, I'm alone here with emptiness, eagles and snow, unfriendliness chilling my body, and whispering pictures of home. Wouldn't it be nice to be home forever in the home of love? That's me adding that, of course. Here in this prison, go Deep Purple of my own making, wondering blindly, how can they ever find me? The key is to find oneself again in those moments of despair, of isolation, and of destitution, of pain, or of fear of dying. The key is to open one's heart again to life and to love, and to trust and realize thereby that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will never leave us, that they are as much part of us as we of they. There is, in fact, no duality between the two entities, because they are not two, but only one entity. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will therefore never forsake us, even when we may be tempted to turn our back upon them from time to time, busying the chatterboxes in our brains with 1,001 matters to be worried about and chewed upon. Therefore, oh, wise ones seeking to become wiser, let us, let yourself, and let myself, and let all others set our minds at ease as often as we can think about doing so that our hearts may find peace and comfort in the knowledge that we are never alone. For eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are as much in our hearts and beings as we are in their beautiful bosoms. Those cosmic bosoms of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love, manifested in the galactic bosoms of our Milky Way galaxy and its goddess, and all its beautiful, living goddesses of love, whose feminine incarnations grace us here upon the earth, as well as the galactic goddess, to whom some myths like to give the name of Sophia. Sophia can be defined as a living spirit of love and wisdom, of the wisdom of love, and of the love of wisdom. So my prayer for you, my prayer for all of us, and therefore for myself as well, is that may eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's presence ease our minds, animate our spirits with hope and optimism, with comfort, and with love and tender care for ourselves and towards others, and give us thus the rest and peace, serenity and joy that we deserve from time to time, from our warriors' journeys and their demanding quests. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love, know how we feel, for again, there is no difference between their eternal and everlasting powerful forces and our own force, no matter how little we may believe we are in comparison, how little or how weak at times. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are never unaware of our circumstances. They are always, ever aware of how we feel, and they are ready to be our strength, our courage, our grace, our dignity, our honor, our peace, our love, and our success. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are ever here and ever there and everywhere to cast sunlight into all our darkened shadows, to send us encouragement via the love emanating from friends and family, or in the salutation and smile of a perfect stranger. And they are ready to replace thereby our weariness with renewed hope, with renewed trust, with renewed optimism, and with renewed joy. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are our stronghold for each one of us. So let us call them to come to us. I am calling you. Will you answer true? With eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love as our guide, we, you and I and all others need never be afraid again. No circumstances can block eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's eternal and everlasting and all-encompassing, all-powerful, all-divine, living and loving powers. No situation can stop eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love from radiating their intense beauty and manifesting their great wisdom of love. No burden is too heavy, no obstacle is too difficult, no grief is too hard, no tragedy is too terrible, no suffering is too painful, for eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love to bear and to heal and to renew us once again. No task is too problematic for eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love to solve. No creation is too beautiful, no love is too intense or too immense for eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love to conceive and to create. No creativity of the imagination is too wild for eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love to manifest into our minds and to implement into reality. For we are not given a dream, no matter how ambitious or how wild and crazy it may sound to others, mostly the conventional, without the power to make this dream of ours come true. There are times, however, when what we are feeling is simply too deep for words to express, and nothing anyone does or says can provide us with the relief we so need. But let us remember that even in those times of confusion and isolation, eternal and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love understand us and know about our dreams and aspirations. They know about our fears and doubts and about our pain and suffering. They hear our prayers and they will renew our courage and reignite our desire to live intensely again, and the awareness in our minds and the good feelings in our hearts of the right and the duty we have to believe in ourselves, in the value of each one of our lives, and in the fundamental place of hope and optimism in our lives. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are our best friends. Our best friends, they are today, tomorrow, for the rest of our lives, for all days and for always, forever and ever and ever. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love love us. They really and truly and deeply do love us all, each and every single one of us. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love love you. Yes, you. And they love me too. And love all others as well. And they love us dearly, profoundly, unconditionally, beautifully, and inspiringly so. Now, then, back when? Tomorrow, the day after. And would you believe it? For all of eternity and even beyond. Stuff that one thought into your pipe and reflect upon it. Although personally, I do not smoke the pipe, nor do I smoke cigarettes, nor do I smoke joints, nor do I smoke cigars. Ever. I love and respect my beautiful lungs too much to oppose their health, their beauty, their lusciousness, and their vital purpose by contaminating them with smoke, with acrid smoke, and its tar. So I never smoke, nor do I ever drink alcohol, nor do I ever take drugs, nor do I ever take medicines. I like to lead as healthy and as hygienic a life as possible, and keep a clear mind and a pure heart when, if possible, at all times. I really do like to remain healthy, hygienic, clear-minded, and as pure-hearted as possible. And this is what I wish us all. Naturally. I do not claim to be holier than the Pope, although this Pope, this currently is not very holy, if you ask me. Naturally, it took me a while to figure this out. That I am so happy that I have found this way of living, and because I really like all that is natural. I don't like what's artificial or synthetic. I like all that is healthy, and I don't like what is unhealthy. I love all that is genuine, and I do not like what is insincere. I like what is authentic and not what is synthetic or fake. I like sincerity almost above all, and not insincerity. I love compassion and not insensibility, and I love all that is beautiful and nothing that is ugly or horrible, and I love all that is loving and nothing that is hateful. And I was going to say fearful. When I see the fearful or the hateful, I will try and blow wind out of our sails. That was a Freudian lapsus. I said our sails, because their sails are my sails. Even the most wicked I consider as brothers and sisters of the human race, and they too need to be given the chance to be saved, to save themselves, for forgiveness is a virtue, and redemption is an additional gift of God and of love. There is really no high. The high when we attain access to our higher selves, that is equivalent, in my opinion, to a clear, crystal clear perception of the realities that surround us. I believe in trusting life as is in its natural state, and in trusting love in its most beautiful and pure and wonderful state. So let's cast all our worries and all our cares away, therefore, into the lap, or the bosoms if you prefer, or the fountains, why not, of eternal and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love, of which we are an intrinsic part. And let us believe that with their divine powers, we will have the power to humanly solve all the problems that may arise and will arise in our lives. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love give us the intelligence, the divine intelligence of the human mind, the divine intelligence of the human heart, and the divine intelligence within each one of the 80 trillion living cells or so that animate a living human body, and that we need to function, to flourish, to blossom, and to succeed in our lives. There is nothing like eternal and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love's unconditional and all-encompassing love. There is nothing as strong, as dependable, as completely accepting, as highly inspiring, as profoundly soothing, and as deeply healing as eternal and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love's love, and therefore genuine concern for us all, for our welfare and well-being and well-feeling, and for all of the living creatures throughout the entire universe. We don't need to feel eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love in order to take advantage of it. No, we only simply just need to believe in life and to believe in love, to embrace life and to embrace love, and therefore to respect all life and to respect all love, and always try as much as possible to make an earnest attempt to share our respect and love of life, of all life, beginning with the respect and love for our own particular lives, and to allow this respect of ours for life and for love to guide our every thought and our every action. The love of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love for its creatures, its creations, and its living beings, and therefore for us, for you, for me, and for all others. That love for their creations and living creatures is the greatest power of all, and it's right here, right now, inside of each one of us, and that goes for you too. One of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's greatest gifts is a chance to be born again, each day anew. We rise from our sleep or slumber fully charged, again ready to face a new day in a new way. Beginning with every sunrise, we can and should let go of the past and any regrets, any mistakes, any remorse, or any sorrows or grief it may have held. We can and should look ahead of us, standing in the present, in the here and now, and looking towards and into the future, and see where we'd like to go, secure always to remind us in the knowledge that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will enable us to leave any emotional baggage where it belongs, and that is in the past. We can choose to leave yesterday behind and start all over again today. We can start all over again right now and strive earnestly to become whatever we really dream of being. And we can rest assured that with eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's help, and with eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's constant loving attention, we can achieve anything, beginning today, right now, by accepting sincere love within our hearts and striving to conceive of realistic plans within our minds and with all the love and passion in our hearts for their truly beneficial worth to us and the human community, and implementing them courageously and beautifully and lovingly into reality. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love have definite plans for each one of us. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love care about each one of us deeply, knowing that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love have a plan for each and every single one of our lives is very important. When things happen that are out of control, when dinosaur-sized droppings hit the fan, so to speak, laughingly so, life can suddenly seem very discouraging. It is easy to become frustrated, to feel afraid, to get angry, and to question what the future may really hold for us. But by putting our faith, nevertheless, in eternal and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love again, and their divine plans for each one of us, this will allow us to trust that the events in our lives are meant to be. As a wise individual once said, and other wise men and wise women know, one must be willing to recognize the blessing and the lesson in each given situation that may arise, no matter how hard or how disconcerting and confusing it may at first appear to be. This philosophy, this optimistic and positive philosophy, will help us to make better choices for the successful realizations of our lives. Choices that must be made intelligently and wisely to find the appropriate solutions, and in that process to realize that things are not really out of control. They are under the control of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. There is a peace that can be found, knowing that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's divinely conceived plan is playing out in our life, as if its tune, its divine cosmic symphony, were composed to perfection, even in our darkest hours. When things are confusing for us, let us remember that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are in control, and that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love love us. They love us dearly, and they care about us deeply. Let us therefore trust eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love and their plans for each one of us at all times, in every step that we make and in every breath that we take and in every feeling that we feel. And let us learn to recognize their wisdom and love for us, and therefore, by transitivity and extrapolation, to recognize our wisdom and our love in all the events that compose our lives, no matter how hard, unjust, or even cruel they might appear to be at first, as punishments we do not deserve. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are everywhere, around us, upon us, beneath us, and also within us. Let us therefore look around, and in doing so, always let us open our hearts and minds to the deeper knowledge that this world of ours and surely all other worlds are the works, the magnificent, magical works of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are in control and have been so for a long time, holding up each star, each planet, each moon, and of course our glorious and highly benevolent sun, too. Sun, my sun, sending sunshine, light and warmth, and therefore, yes, love, too, down to the earth, to our beautiful Mother, the Earth, Mother Earth, we so love and so loves us, and bringing so much beauty and vitality into our lives, inspiring beauty and vitality for our eyes to see, for our ears to hear, for our noses, let's not forget our noses, to smell, for our tongues to taste, for our fingers and for our bodies to feel, and for our hearts to love. One sincere, clear, and open glance around this magical, mysterious, miraculous, and magnificent world of ours will not fail, surely, to inspire our hearts with love and gratitude, our souls with songs, our spirits with peace and tranquility, and our beings with joy and serenity. All warriors, all warrior dudes and dudettes out there deserve an occasional rest, do we not? Although the French like to say, pas de répit pour les braves, no rest for the braves. But knowing, truly knowing, that eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are always watching over us, no matter what chaos might be subjecting our lives to, is comforting to know, is it not? In our moments of despair and of lonely solitude, when walking alone along some beach and lamenting ourselves about our apparent total abandonment by all others and by Lady Luck, if we would but listen to the silence of our souls, whence all mysteries are held, then we might hear eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love say to us, these footprints in the sand, my dear child, are the footprints of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love, upon whose shoulders you are being eternally carried. Eternal and beautiful love and true and everlasting love and life will not forget us ever. They will not forget either. You better believe it. To let the rivers flow, nor to let the clouds rise, or to let the planets spin and orbit, nor to let the stars shine, nor to keep our blood from flowing to our system, to our vital organs, nor to encourage the birds to sing, nor to guide the bees to the sources of nectar and pollen, nor to keep the flowers blooming in their fields, nor to let the dreams we have at night ignite our imaginations. Thanks to the magical subconscious tales that are woven by eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love color the spaces of our lives with so many moments to be thankful for. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love even know when to dish out some well-needed and well-deserved tender loving care. With eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's majestic touches, each night turns into day as the sun wakes up the world again, and time blesses us once more with challenging our reality into existence, into purpose, and into meaningfulness. Isn't it a wonderful feeling then to look at life and realize that the old story of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love to create ever more life and to spread ever more love, to create beautiful and lovely manifestations of the living creative force. Thanks to eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love's loving cosmic hearts, loving galactic hearts, loving solar hearts, loving planetary hearts, and loving lunar hearts that have been supporting our universe's myriads of creations forever and ever and ever and ever. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are in control. We can bet our ranch on it. An eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love make all things beautiful for us, and they give us the power to live on and to enjoy all their creations, and especially that special being they've created in you. Yes, in you. And in me, of course, too. And in each one of us. We, the living children of our mother, the earth, we are all precious. We are all unique. We are all wonderful. We are all the living children of love. We are all the living children of eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. I must remind us of this. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are always watching over us. Yes? Oh yes, this is worth repeating. I'm not suffering of a premature bout of Alzheimer's, and I never will. When life overwhelms us, and we feel like we cannot carry on much longer, or even any longer at all, because the burden of our lives appears too heavy for us to bear, and we might be thinking of bailing out into the great unknown beyond death. let us still remember, more than ever, to remain steadfast in our duty, to hold out our hands, to stretch out our arms, and to reach out our hearts to eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love. Why? Well, because eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will unfailingly welcome us back into their eternal and unconditional loving embrace, and they will renew our energies, our living, dynamic, and loving energies time and time again, and thus give us the strength we need to keep on living and to keep on loving. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will give us strength and walk beside us and inspire us from within, even if and when, and especially when, we are struck down by tragic events and we thereby think that we can't walk another step or take another breath or move another finger. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will carry us through life's trials. They will. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love will help us make it through this day and all those days and nights to come. Oh yes, it is worth repeating. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are always watching over us. It is eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love that give us our uniqueness. There are no two beings like any one of us in the whole world, throughout the entire universe. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love give us not only our unique individuality, but they also give us one to the other. As one child of life to another child of life, as one child of love to another child of love. As such, we are given one to the other. We are given to one another, to love one another, to protect one another, to respect one another, to understand one another, to rejoice in one another, to live with one another. And in doing so, eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love give us the blessed company of spirits, spirits that are kindred spirits to their holiest of spirits, companions that are the Holy Spirits of life and the Holy Spirits of love, which ultimately are one and the same. For is not life the child of love? And is not love the child of life? Both life and love are fractional manifestations of the whole, and therefore, according to the laws of fractals and the string theories, that supposedly govern the quantic field, each fractal, each fraction, and therefore each one of us is a possessor of the qualities of the whole, and therefore possessors of an inherent, eternal, and beautiful life, and true and everlasting love. We are but their living and loving manifestations, so let us make them as true, as truly true as possible, as the strength and all the courage we may muster in our hearts will allow us to. For are we not all soul brothers and soul sisters living upon the same planet at the same time in this evolution of an accelerating, expanding, mysterious, magical, and wonderful universe? We are, each and every one of us, beautiful, loving, living components of the great advent, the great divine singularity, and of the great adventure of humanity's journey upon this earth that has given us all birth, upon this wonderfully beautiful and mysterious, celestially traveling aster, this terrestrial body of our mother, the planetary animal mother of the earth. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love give us the seasons. They give us the season of spring, the season of summer, the season of autumn, and the season of winter. Each season blossoming forth with its own intrinsic beauty and inherent reason for singing its special part in the symphony of life's cyclical evolution upon this earth of ours. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love bring us many blessings, such as joy or even sadness. For sadness is a great teacher of life too, and tears can be more revealing and redeeming, and often more healing than laughter at times. The blessings, such as the feelings of love in our hearts and of gratitude for living, come to us as an expression, as an emanation of the eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love that dwell within us all. Plus also the feelings of wonder, the feelings of joy, the feelings of bliss, the feelings of compassion, the feelings of sympathy, the feelings of spontaneity, the feelings even of sheer ecstasy, and so much more. Eternal and beautiful life and true and everlasting love are in the sunshine, in the rain, and in the... So here I must end the first part of this essay on beautiful and eternal life and true and everlasting love. Look for part 2 on YouTube under Beauty and Wisdom of Love. Thank you.